Are you ready to set your 2024 goals? Let's do it. If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai. I run a virtual assistant agency in the Philippines called 2XU. I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, so make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, in the last couple of years, I've been doing so many videos on how to set your goals for the year, and I've been walking you guys through like me doing pictures, or like when I think at one point I was jogging when I was recording a video like this one. And I want to walk you through a simpler way that I've been doing this basically in the last year, just because I just want my life to be just a little bit easier, and how to be able to do it in a way that actually is sustainable and you can actually reach for what it is that you want to get to without overwhelming yourself or your new year goals just lasting January. So we'll try to get through that, and I'll break it down to you guys what that could look like for you as well. So one of the first things that I always say is, when you are going to set your goals, always start with gratitude. What are the things that you're grateful for that happened in the last year? Now, I actually say celebrate your wins, but I like to kind of scale down a little bit and think of what are the things that I'm grateful for that happened in 2023, basically in the last year, instead of the things that I made happen as well. Because there's a lot of blessings, a lot of things that have happened in my life that basically just landed on my lap without me like trying to push for it so much, as well as just having it just to be a good reminder of the things that I can do as well. So I start with gratitude, and then I go ahead and celebrate my wins. I make a list usually. I make this really long post on my Facebook if you guys want to check that out, usually at 31st or on the 1st of January. And I kind of just recount what are the things that I won, or what are things I really did well on, and again, as well as the things that I've been grateful for. Being grateful for the people around me, grateful for having the team that I do in 2XU, grateful for all of the changes that I went through. And again, these are things that I did not take initiative on. I didn't want to go through like a rough patch this year, but because of that, I've been a little bit better about myself and loving myself and taking care of myself. So start with gratitude, celebrate your wins, because then it gives you a little bit of that momentum moving forward. You're not starting from a blank space, basically. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from a place where you've done all of these things, and these things have happened to you. Now what are you going to do about it for the next year? So what I've actually created for you guys, and what I've been using myself, is I have a goals journal basically. Now I have this on sale for the new year, but you guys can check it out in the link below. But I've created this good way where you can start logging basically your wins and the things that you're grateful for in the last year. Now I've put 90 days because at any time someone can just grab this and they can do 90 days, but it's a good way for you to see how the year went. And of course, again, looking back, starting with that momentum of like, hey, I have all of these things to be grateful for and all the things I've done. Let's crush basically 2024. With that, the next thing I do is I remind myself of my big, hairy, audacious goal. So when it comes to my big, hairy, audacious goal, I look at the person I'm becoming, and I don't usually say in 10 years, in 5 years, in 20 years, because I'm always like constantly becoming that person. So I think of the lifestyle that I want, I think of the things that I want to have at certain points in my life, and I think about, okay, what would that person do this year? What would that person focus on this year? So for example, last year for 2023, I knew I wanted to develop a lot of the systems and foundation for 2XU. We were also focusing on AI because I asked myself, as ChatGPT is coming up, as 2XU is in this stage of the business, what would future me do this year? What would I focus on this year so I can get further to where I actually want to go? So the same question that I'm asking for 2024 is, based on who I am and who I want to become, what are the things that I can do to move forward towards that person? What are the things that I can focus on for 2024? Now, for choosing the things that I'm going to focus on, I would usually look at this article. I've bookmarked this article I actually have it saved as a PDF, but it is basically the 12 areas of life, and it came across this many years ago now. It's from this company called Mind Valley, and I look at this. So I look at the 12 areas of life, and then I ask myself, which three? I usually just focus on 3, 4 at the maximum. Which of these 4 do I want to focus on this 2024? So the reason for the 4 is I don't want to overwhelm myself, and as much as possible, I like looking at domino effects. Now, if I focus on just health and fitness basically for the first quarter, it'll help my intellectual life because I'll be a little bit smarter. It'll help my character because I'm a little bit more resilient, and it will also help with my social life because I'll be more confident of when I'm stepping up basically. So I look at this always because, again, again, it helps me kind of visualize, okay, where do I want to be based off of the, decision of like, okay, for 2024, I kind of want to do this. So I look at this to kind of create a good picture for myself of what that actually looks like. So as a really good example for 2023, what I focused on a lot was my financial life. I was starting to invest a little bit, starting to put aside. I also put a lot into quality of life, which is basically just me moving. It wasn't honestly on my 2023 goals, but I knew I wanted to have a new environment. So I moved, and I focused a lot on intellectual life. I focused a lot on pushing myself and studying more and learning more courses, going through more books. So that was 2023 me. Now picking up for 2024, I know that I want to focus on three main things. I might add a fourth one later on, but I'm focused on three main things. First is just career. Like I'm probably going to start a new business in 2024, or I'm probably going to into the next level basically. Second is I'm going to improve more on my character. I want to develop basically and unlearn a lot of the things that I've had to learn in my early 20s and become that person more and more of who I want to be. And also generally just my health and fitness, just because I do know that health and fitness is something I'm always going to be working on every single year, just because I'll have different bouts of sicknesses. So I'm always focused on that. So just health and fitness, character, and career. Those are my three things that I want to focus on in 2024. So in the journal that I have for you guys, it's there, your categories of focus, what you want to focus on basically, what are the four things or three things you want to focus on from the 12 areas of life. So it's actually already in there. But then it brings me, since this is a year goal, basically review setting, I would honestly start creating a board out of my 2024 goals, so the theme basically. So you all guys will already see it here. So I have the 2023. The theme for 2023 was Empire State of Mind. In 2024, I thought it was going to be Lucky Era. So I tried to put in themes of, if my life was a book, basically, what would be the 2023 chapter? What would that title be? What would be the 2024 chapter? So I look at it in that way. But then again, 2024, I thought it was originally Lucky Era, but it's changing a little bit. But we'll stick to Lucky Era for now because I haven't fully finalized maybe the title for the theme, but I know what the theme is. The theme for me basically for 2024 is to be a little bit more in my feminine side, a little bit of Empress if you guys love tarot. So that's kind of where I'm looking at for 2024. But I want you guys to look at my 2023 board. And for here, you'll see the different things that I just talked about of like the things that I wanted to focus on in the last year. Now, New York is always going to be a big theme for me because that's one of my goals in life, is to be able to get to and move to New York. So I always have that here. But I attract amazing opportunities wherever I go. I put some affirmations in here, not just the places I want to go to or the things I want to have, but I sprinkle a little bit of affirmations in here of like things that I see. So what I do with this is, the beginning of the year, I do set like a couple of the big ones that I want to do. I'm going to scroll down to where it was at the beginning of the year. Okay, so I got confused myself on Pinterest a little bit. Now I'm back on track. So at the beginning of the year, I basically created, like pinned a couple of things that I wanted to really do. Like one of them was speaking on stage. I spoke on stage a lot this year. One of them was to do weightlifting. I did a lot of weightlifting this year. One of them was like move into a loft, which is what I moved into. So it's kind of the cool thing about like setting how you want things to look like in your life really works, because then you are able to say, oh, this is it. This is exactly what I mean, or this is what I wanted, because you're able to call it out because you've seen yourself be there. That's kind of why I love Pinterest for this. So I have like Forbes 30 under 30. I haven't gotten there yet. Moved into a new place, go to Japan. Haven't done yet, but might do that in the next year. So I basically just pin affirmations. I pin views I want to see, things I want to do, so then I can keep kind of dreaming and being that state of like, okay, this is where I want to be in my life. Or I have New York on here, base Empire State of Mind basically for me means that I want to build an empire to outgrow me, like build different businesses that can outgrow me basically, which is why I've been doing so many other ventures in this year as well. So that's kind of how I start the year, is I go through and create essentially that board of mine. And again, for 2024, I've been thinking lucky era. I've been thinking like, hey, I want to focus more on my career, focus on my health and be fitter basically, and not just like lose weight, but be actually fit. So here I still have New York, of course, but I have like the muscles that I want to see myself, the gains that I want to have. I have like this goal of where I want to be, like how I want to look. I have my record player, just because I bought a record player recently as well. So I have these things that things I want to see, things that I want to create into my reality. Yes, it is a little bit of manifestation, and things that I want to also do, like creating more Notion templates for you guys so it can help you get started working on Notion. Getting to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube maybe. So I grab these things that I can see or I would be able to see in real life and put it on my Pinterest board. That way, the next step actually is I do put it on my phone. I have it as like a rolling thing. So you can see like the 2020 3-pin board that I have on there. So later on, I'm going to change this to my 2024. So I'm always reminded of it. I'm always looking for it in my reality of like, oh, where is that? Where is my 99,000 subscribers on, YouTube? Where is that podcasting setup that I really want to get to? So I just have this here, or like, looking at like what I would look like when I go to Taiwan. So I would look at these so that I'm always reminded that even when I'm struggling, when I'm not doing or feeling well, I can go back to my Pinterest board and kind of remind myself like this is what I'm working towards. Next is I would actually break it down to a little bit of quarterly goals and monthly goals. Now on the quarterly goals, I would look at, that's why it's best to kind of pick 3 or 4 from the areas of life they want to focus on, because then it helps you kind of break it down of like, okay, so for the first quarter, I'll be focusing a lot on my career. Just January to March, career is just kind of the thing that I'm really working on because I want to launch this business hopefully by the second quarter. So I'm focusing on that. By the second quarter, I'll probably be focusing a lot on my health and fitness just because I want to do more traveling basically at the second half of the year. So I'm going to be focused on working out, on my diet, on probably checking out a couple of doctors to see if there's other ways that I can manage my own health. In the third quarter, I'll be working a lot on my character as well, of like becoming this more feminine empress person basically that I have in my head. And by the fourth quarter, hopefully tying it into, that's why I usually just pick 3 because I never know how the year would actually go. I have intentions for it, but of course things happen. So it might be that, oh, I move character to the second quarter actually, because the third quarter, I know I have this opportunity to do X, Y, and Z on my fitness. So I do different things so I can start picking out and be flexible basically as the year goes by. So then I break it down to monthly. So again, I set the intention of what I want each quarter to look like, and I try to set those goals basically per month. So this is kind of from the book 12-Week Year. Forget the author at the moment, but I basically went through that a little bit and started to understand like how can I get all of my goals done looking at it from a year, but then doing it in 90 days. So for example, on just focusing on my career, I know to do X, Y, and Z, break it down per month of like, what are my key objectives? What are the things that I can measure that I have control on or control over, that I can say are the things that could move me forward towards where my goals are at. So then that's basically creating your monthly goals and like doing that every single month of like, resetting of like, okay, now next quarter, let me focus on this. These are the things that I'm hoping to get done. Actually, again, focused on that. And the last part is I always make sure that I have my habits. So I always notice that if I don't put my goals into habits, into a part of my system of the daily, it's never going to get done. It's always going to be something I hope for or something I hope to happen. So I always have a habit tracker. Now here on the template, I've created just a really quick way to do that. So I have, today's mood, I have the date. So today's mood, I always try to keep that in mind of like, okay, I want to be able to do this. I want to know and track basically my moods throughout the whole week. So like, was I good? Was I unfocused? Was I, where was I at basically? Then I have the habits on here. So the cool thing about this tracker is, of course, as you progress on what you're doing, you can see how far along you've been on the habits that you have. So again, for example, on the career goal that I have, habits that I could just be doing is just reading, 10 pages a day or finishing the book that I'm writing. And then if I go into the calendar view, I can easily see like where my habits are at. And it's easy for me to like check off and change, and makes it easy on my phone as well. So the tracking of the habits makes it where you are building who you are and who you want to become. And you're giving yourself affirmations that, yeah, this is where I'm going to go. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to get there. So I found that habit tracking is one of the key things that makes it actually something real for me to get to where I want to become or who I want to become, because it is just a daily thing. Like, hey, this is now me. I'm actually a person who goes running for 30 minutes a day. I'm now just a person who lifts 60 kilos or 70 kilos just because it's now part of my habits to do that once a week, twice a week, thrice a week. So it's now just part of who I am instead of something that I'm constantly chasing. The habits become me, so then it's easy for me to hit my monthly goals, my quarterly goals, my theme for the year, and then eventually becoming more and more of that person that I want to become. So it kind of closes that gap really, really well. And I'm hoping that as I'm showing you guys this of my process of what that looks like for me, it becomes easier for you guys to become the person that you want to become as well. Now, I am really looking forward to knowing what your guys' theme for 2024 is. So of course, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what that theme is. I would love to support you guys in some way coming in 2024. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to put business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an amazing day and with that small steps matters. And I'll see you in the next video. Happy New Year! Bye!